team, what is good? I hope all is well with you. I am excited to get stuck into this week's YouTube video, and I want to talk about the real reason why it's hard to lose weight in your 30s, because it's not what you believe. And in having this internal shift, it will help you to break through that weight loss yo-yo cycle that you've been stuck in, for as long as you can remember. This is what I help every single client achieve within the lean and fulfilled lifestyle. And the perception generally around kind of weight loss over 30 is that, it's so much harder. But it's harder for different reasons that you need to know to be able to actually break free of them. And it's not because of your hormones. It's not because of your metabolism. It's not because, life is incredibly busy and you've got more responsibility. The reason that it's harder to lose weight in your 30s is because of your mindset. You've spent years of trying and failing, so that is ingrained in you. The belief system that you have about your capabilities and the evidence that you've created for yourself is, I can't do it. I've spent years battling with myself, trying to get to a place where I'm happy. I just can't seem to do it. And if I ever have a bit of success, I can never sustain it. So your mindset is that, well, it's just harder as you get older. It's just, it's my hormones, it's my metabolism, or it's that, I've always been, a bit big. I've never really been a sporty athletic person, or I've always been kind of yo-yo dieting, and it becomes your identity. Okay, your identity is the person that you believe yourself to be, cultivated through your experiences and the evidence that you create for yourself. So, I don't blame you for thinking like that, but this is the thought process of every single over 30 that has struggled with ever achieving that weight loss that they want to achieve, because they know what it would do for them, physically, mentally, and emotionally. It's kind of like the reason that it's harder in your 30s is nothing to do with your age. It's nothing to do with your hormones, your metabolism, your ability level like you think it is. That if that's your perception, then you just hit a ceiling. You will never break through because that's what you believe. It's your identity. It's the person that you believe yourself to be. Okay, so when you start to try and go against that identity, it doesn't feel right. It feels wrong. It feels like, well, no, this is who I am. And this is why, for you to have success with your weight loss journey in your 30s and beyond, you have to change your identity. You have to challenge the narratives that have, that you've always had, that you've created for yourself, because the narratives that you tell yourself in your head form a set of beliefs, and it's them beliefs that influence your actions and behaviors that therefore influence your result. So if on a fundamental level, you believe that I'm too old now, my hormones are different, my metabolism slowed down, I'm a bit older. If that's the narrative that you're telling yourself, that forms a set of belief that, well, I'm over 30 now, this is how it's supposed to be. So what does that do? That influences your actions and behaviors. That means that you're not consistent with working out. That means that you have a poor relationship with food, because it's like, well, I'm not going to achieve it anyway. That's the belief that you have. And then obviously them actions and behaviors align with yo-yoing, on the bandwagon, off the bandwagon, no consistency. So you can see why the identity is so key. That is one of the reasons why it's hard for you to lose weight over 30, is because your identity. And it flows into this next point, that it's years of poorly ingrained habits. Okay, if you've been the way that you are right now for the last 5, 10, 15 years, them bad habits, your bad belief system, your identity, it's further ingrained in who you are. So that's where the challenges come from. So it's not about all these other factors that you assume it is. It's because I'm older, it's because I'm this. No, it's not. It's because of your identity. It's because you have failed to change your mindset, your perception of what you're capable of. And importantly, you keep implementing every single day habits that don't align with who you want to be. But this is where the power lies, because then if we can actually go, okay, well, if I start to challenge the narratives in my head, change my identity, learn how I can improve my mindset to believe in myself more, alongside changing my habits and focusing on that, maybe I could achieve something great. Maybe I could finally lose weight and sustain it. And this is the key here. It's changing that belief system, doing things differently to how you've ever done before. Because just because you're in your 30s, life is busy, you don't believe in yourself, you think it's your hormones, your metabolism, you've always been big, you've always struggled with weight loss. That doesn't mean that you can't start showing up differently with a different level of intent. It doesn't mean that you can't improve your nutrition. It doesn't mean that you can't work out. It doesn't mean that you can't change your habits. And that's why you believe you can't progress is false, because your metabolism, your hormones, that doesn't stop you making better nutrition decisions. It doesn't stop you exercising. Okay, so you have to zoom out and see the bigger picture. So that's some of the main reasons why, it is harder as you are in your 30s, but it's different to what you think. It's your mindset, it's your habits that have been ingrained for a longer period of time, and a lot of it is just that you lack the self-respect to prioritize yourself. And this comes from years of trying and failing and always putting everyone else's needs ahead of your own. You have to realize that you are the vehicle that drives your life. Your physical and mental well-being matters, especially as you get in your 30s and you've got a career, you might have a family. Life is precious and there's so many beautiful things for you to experience. And if we always neglect our physical and mental health, then we're not being the best versions of ourselves. How can you expect to get the most out of life? Be there for your children, set the example, be the best version of yourself, grow in your career, achieve all of the things that you want, and most importantly, just be happy day to day. Have that clarity, that sense of purpose, and that self-confidence that you love who you are. You're in a body that you're proud of, you're healthy, you're fit, you're active, and you can do everything that you want. You're not always worrying about how you look, worrying about wearing clothes, feeling guilty for enjoying yourself when you're sat enjoying a meal with your son. Like it's sad to hear that most people feel like that, and it doesn't have to be that way. So as you get into your 30s, okay, as you grow through life, trust me when I say it's nothing to do with your ability. It's nothing to do with your age, your hormones, your metabolism, all the things that you believe right now in your head. It's nothing to do with that. That's not why it's harder for you to lose weight. It's harder for you to lose weight because of your identity, okay, so your mindset, because of your poorly ingrained habits, which the more that you implement them, the further they ingrain. And your lack of self-respect, your inability to show up and prioritize yourself, okay? Because if you're not filling your own cup up, how can you expect to fill everyone else's up, okay? How can you expect to be the best version of yourself, the person that you truly want on a deeper level? So this is where I want to challenge your mindset. So yes, as we get over 30, it is harder for you to lose weight if you're not working on these three things. But this is where the opportunity lies. You can change your mindset. It doesn't matter how old you are. Okay, we can all start to shift our identity and change the narratives in your head. Okay, we can all build better habits. So even if the habits that you have right now are poor, they've been ingrained for years, we can slowly start to change your habits. Building habits is a fact. It's science. It doesn't just, they can build habits, I can't. Like, no, anybody can change their habits, that we can then get aligning with who you want to be, which aligns with achieving a result. And then we can all start to learn how to show up for ourselves, commit to us, invest our time, money, and energy into our health and well-being when you start to value it more, when you make it a priority in your life. It's why inside the Lean and Fulfilled Lifestyle, when a client joins in the initial phase of their coaching journey, we focus on changing their identity and building better habits. Okay, because they're the two things that are going to create a solid foundation that will allow you to achieve the result that you've always wanted, and then go on to sustain it and then make it and integrate it into your life so it's part of who you are. So you embody the lean and fulfilled way, and it stands the test of time. So you get all of the physical, mental, and emotional benefits. Because remember, it's not just about losing a bit of weight, is it? It's about looking in the mirror and feeling proud, going clothes shopping without feeling guilty, being able to enjoy a nice meal and a treat and not feeling like, I've gained loads of weight, I'm fat, and like just to enjoy life, to be more present, to have less worry, less guilt, and just more freedom, more life, to enjoy and succeed however you want, outside of fitness personally. So hopefully that's helpful, and it kind of gives you a completely different perspective on why it's harder to lose weight over 30. So yes, it is harder, but for reasons that you're blindsided to at the minute. And if you can understand and bring consciousness to, okay, it's not because of these things, it's actually because of these things, and these things I can actually work on, which means I can progress, and it doesn't matter what age I am, I can finally create the body, the healthy lifestyle that I've always wanted and sustain it for life. You feel this internal shift of like hope and like, I actually can do this. And it's why I help over 30s achieve it day in, day out. We've got an incredible caliber of results. The Lean Fulfilled Lifestyle is incredible. I know you've probably seen it on Instagram, watching my YouTube videos. But yeah, it is the place to be. And obviously, if you ever, are considering getting started and wanting to find out more, then yeah, just drop me a message, we'll chat. But I just hope from this video, it gives you hope and inspiration. It gives you, a light at the end of the tunnel that, look, it doesn't have to be this way. I don't have to continue going through life hating how I look, hating how I feel, having poor energy, you know, always feeling stressed, burnt out, overwhelmed. It doesn't have to be that way. You know, you don't have to be great to start, you just have to start. And if you could just change your belief system to think there must be a way, and know that by changing your mindset, building better habits, you know, and going on that journey, the rest works itself out. So hopefully that was useful. Any questions, let me know, and I'll see you in the next